how about Flux be used as render engine? Hey guys, this is Stefan, and today we talking about rendering or how to optimize the render pipeline and how to use AI to actually speed up the process. I already did a video about how I use SDXL and to render almost any objects, environments, rooms, etc. You can check the link in the description. But today we're gonna talk about Flux. There was many requests to make a similar workflow but with Flux. So I actually started to investigate it and I did it, and today I'm sharing it with you. As usual, there's all links will be in the description. You can find a Notion file, all the models, all the custom nodes I used, and we will dive in and I will explain everything what's happening. So first of all, here is what result I was able to achieve. I'm working in an assumption that we take a flat image, or we basically guide it with basic object what we want to do. Like, it can be product, it can be anything, like environment, it can be something else, and I want with as less effort as possible achieve some nice great image. So here you can take a look, you can take a closer look. I mean, this is truly fantastic, right? If we do the shelf, look at this is just amazing, right? And again, like, that just takes, I mean, 20-30 seconds. I mean, Flux is heavier than SDXL. So let's talk about the workflow. And not only I gonna talk about the workflow, but I also gonna tell you, if for some reasons you don't have like nice PC, which I am actually in the club as well, because my 4070 is not enough to run Flux Dev. Even Flux GGUF is not enough for my GPU. So I will tell you how to run that in cloud. So in this example, I run it on a comfyui.run, but there's other options. And again, if you keen to play with Comfy, but your PC really struggles with that, you don't have enough VRAM on your GPU, that's totally fine. Like I show you, is fairly cheap to play around. Again, like, you can do a lot of stuff, you can play around with all the things. And this example, it will be also available by this link, which is gonna be attached in Notion as well. So if you gonna try the comfyui.run, you will be able to play with this exact workflow right there. So let's get it started. There is one difference from SDXL workflow, that I'm not using the image-to-image workflow. So SDXL allowed me to add a lot of, let's say, prompting guidance right through ControlNet, through LoRa, and through image-to-image. But Flux is a little bit different from what I tested, and adding too much guidance doesn't give us like really good results. I will be playing around with more stuff with LoRa's, etc., and maybe find a way how to actually solve it and add more accuracy. But the thing is that it is already accurate, and so on. So my best result I achieved if I take an image as an input, right? So like, let's put it back here. So we take an image as an input, so we do resize it by 1 to 1K to make it square. It's important to make everything same size, because again, like the ControlNet images, right? Whatever you will choose, like Canny depths or head, yeah, like I found head, and I think like this is pretty much like one of the best for me now. It's important to keep everything in one resolution to make sure the process works. Again, like if something will be in other resolution, so you might expect the workflow to fail. So, and what I'm saying is that we do have an empty image as an input. There is no image to image, but again, if we want it to be very accurate, here is an option. We can connect this latent image here, and it will take image as an image. So it is possible to use image, but it will be very accurate in terms of following, right? So again, so how does it work? Just briefly, if we use empty latent image, so denoise should be 1. If we use image to image, latent, so denoise should be something around 0.9. Higher it will not work. I would say like values from 0.8 to 0.9 is something that will work. So again, how does it work? It denoises the original image, and on top of that it starts to actually fantasize, right? So again, if it's 1, so it basically doesn't see anything from the original image. If it's 0.9, you see it like barely, right? The other thing here is the prompt editing, right? So this block is pretty much the same as in my previous workflow. But again, for those who look at this in the first time, we do have a Florence, quite elegant solution for a vision. It's like our vision model, right? So it's very easy to use. It doesn't need to load the model at all. Like you just load it through this nodes, and we ask it to do a detailed caption, right? So it basically describes the scene. And then there's a search LLM with Mistral. Again, like we just ask it to prettify our description to sound like a photorealistic render, right? So that's it. And then we can see the result. We can optionally use prompt styler, but again, I tested it and it seems that too much guidance is actually ruining the output for the Flux. Again, with SDXL it's different. It works. We can enable like many ControlNet LoRa's, prompt styler, etc., and it actually works. It gives really nice result. But here, the better result I achieve if I do less guidance. So yeah, we're all different. So here it is, and then there are 3 ControlNets. Well, for your preferences, I tested them together in a chain, and unfortunately, again, that's the problem. Like too much guidance doesn't give like nice result. So I suggest either set like very small values if you try to combine them, or just use one. So how do I do that? Like you can bypass it, right? This is the same as enabling. So here's 3 blocks. Again, I personally prefer head. Looks really good. Again, it's like Canny, but like just better. It's just better than Canny. In my opinion, again, I think like for some tasks, Canny might do the job. Again, for sometimes like depths might be actually the game changer. For sometimes depths also may do the work. So here's the setup. Again, guys, try it out. Like one thing I need to mention is that values here again is a little bit too sensitive. I would say like moving this value more than 0.7 will most likely make a very bad result. So yeah, I don't think that's worth it. So I would say like the gold range is from 0.5 to 0.7. So play around. So here is the setup again. Like you can use fixed seed, you can randomize it. Like I pretty much always do randomize, but again, if you're playing with one, you need to get like one exact result. Like just use fixed or etc., or do iteration and so on. That's that will be easier to get back to one successful. But again, like they all saved either on your PC if you're using Comfy, or here also in the cloud, but also have workflows in the gallery. You can see like all the results that you did before. In the end, there is an upscaler, so we just get our nice image here. This is it. But there is one small detail. If you're gonna run this on your computer, not in cloud, it might be very beneficial for you to take a look on FLUX One Dev GGUF, which is more optimized model than the classic FLUX One Dev or the original one. Again, you can read or explore what GGUF is, but basically for us it means it consumes less memory. There is FLUX One Dev in here. An example again, if you just connect the model to the same place where this model is connected, let's take a look, right? So it's connected to basic guider and basic scheduler, so you can just connect the same one there and you will be using GGUF. It's more optimized, and again there are another GGUF version like QA is like the biggest one, right? For slower PC, again, if you have 12 gigs of VRAM, you should use Q4. If you have 16 or more, you can try like Q6, Q7, Q8. So in this example, again, like I'm running it on a cloud because my PC definitely will not gonna run this one. I mean, it will. It's like 12 gig VRAM GPU, but again, it's so slow. I don't want to even try. Again, it will take like minutes. The GGUF is faster, way faster. So yeah, you should. If I'm gonna run it on my PC locally, I will definitely use GGUF. That's it. And now let's talk about how to actually run it on the cloud. So there is few options, right? So I personally tried Full AI. There is ComfyUI again, like you can play around. It's pretty much the same experience as you do locally, right? But in Full AI, I saw a few limitations that all nodes I can use. I cannot install nodes. Maybe I didn't found how to do that. There is running hub, more or less nice. You can install some stuff. But I found in the end the comfyui.run, which is, in my opinion, quite flexible. I would not say it's perfect, but it's relatively cheap and it's flexible for me because I can easily install the models I want and custom nodes I want. And this is very important because, again, like you might find some nice workflow you want to try, and again, like you have to install some custom nodes from there, right, to run it. And here, this is basically not a problem. And another problem is also to install some additional models. You don't need even to download them, right? So again, they are sometimes pretty heavy, right? So like 20-30 gigabytes easy. Like the FLUX itself is something like 26. And again, you can just paste the URL from Hugging Face, so you see it's suggested, and just tell it like what folder. Like sometimes there's a custom folder needed for some options, like just say like LLM or like LLM GGUF. That's it. Boom, it works. So I really like this thing here. And yeah, if you're gonna run my flow, you go to Notion, you check all the custom nodes. Again, you might have all of them. What you need, you just need their GitHub, right? I will actually copy all these links there as well. Just add the node, boom, press publish, wait some time, it will install it. Same as you do on a computer. Also, what is interesting, I didn't saw it fails that often as it fails on my local PC. So on my local PC, I always had to fix some Python dependencies, etc. But here it was much more smooth. So to install all this workflow, again, it was almost flawless. So I mean, I'm not gonna say, I'm not promoting this website, but definitely I see that they do need to improve this. But again, for now, to play around, that's a good thing, like especially for those who are just starting. So that's it, guys. I'm really thankful for you to watch this video. I really hope like you can play around like and get really nice results. I'm planning to do more videos about AI. Me myself exploring how to actually use AI tools in daily routine, like in development and more. I'm a 3D engineer, and I like to see like how I can apply these tools and really make my life easier and have more time to play games. Joke. So if you like this video, hit subscribe button, hit like button, and see you in the next videos. Bye bye.